final transfer spot in car number 7S. Eldora Speedway, you wanted the best. You got them four abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt. The world of Outlaws. NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars.
The 42nd Kings Royal is underway at the Eldora Speedway.
They race side by side into turn one. Casey Jedrzejczyk on the bottom, Anthony Macri to the top, and he will take the lead down the back straightaway, and Brian Brown follows him into second.
Brown will go to the bottom side of the speedway. Anthony Macri off turn number 4. He leads the opening lap.
Macri, Brown, Jedrzejczyk, now Dietrich up to third, and Dietrich trying to close in on Brian Brown as they race down the backstretch into quarter number 3.
Rico Abreu concluding the top 5. Brian Brown keeping pace with your race leader, the 39M of Anthony Macri. Brown through the middle, Macri winning on the top, dives down the hill, gets the momentum at the exit of turn number 2, and now pulls 8 car lengths over the Casey's number 21.
Top 2, half a straightaway in front of what is now a battle for the third position among 3 drivers. Rico Abreu catching up with Casey Jedrzejczyk and Danny Dietrich.
Dietrich holds on to the third spot. Jedrzejczyk working the bottom side of the speedway. Yellow lights are coming on. We've got trouble down in turn number 1. Ohio represented in that 4th spot as we put the right feet back down and we go back into racing. Some contact here on the front straightaway on the restart. Everyone keeps it straight. Sheldon Hodenshield will have to take a look at the nose on that car. Got into the back end of somebody.
Brian Brown a bit for the lead on the inside of 3 and 4. Pulls even with Anthony Macri, can't complete the pass, but stays with him again on a lower line in corners 1 and 2.
On the restart, Rico Abreu up to 3rd. Ashton Torgerson into the 4th spot. Now Danny Dietrich runs in 5th. Sheldon Hodenshield on the move on the restart. He's up to 7th in the 17, battling with the 57 of Kyle Larson.
Larson took a peek to the inside of Hodenshield's NOS Energy Drink entry. Couldn't make the pass in 3 and 4. Ryan Smith just behind them as well. Smith looking good on the bottom side of the speedway.
Once again, the 69K rolling the bottom. They're closing in on the 11N of Casey Jedrzejczyk. Jedrzejczyk continues to hold down position number 6 and is closing in on Danny Dietrich. Another slider attempt from Kyle Larson. Couldn't get alongside the 17 of Sheldon Hodenshield. Hodenshield closing in quickly on the 69K of Smith.
Sheldon Hodenshield on the cushion. Ryan Smith down low. Rico Abreu getting a little bit closer to second place. Brian Brown as they make their way down the backstretch. Carson Macedo now coming after the 57 of Kyle Larson, and Hodenshield's off the pace on the back straightaway. Green flag waving. Brian Brown to the inside of Anthony Macri looking for the lead into turn 2. He'll slide up, but Macri goes between he and the outside wall. Macri maintains the lead, but Brian Brown is right there with him.
Side by side as they come off of turn number 4. Who leads at the stripe? It's still Anthony Macri, but Brian Brown all over him as they race into turn number 1. Macri will try the bottom side of the speedway. An opportunity for Brown to build some momentum, and here comes Rico Abreu.
Abreu to the top, leader on the top. Meanwhile, Danny Dietrich fighting side by side with Ashton Torgerson. Rico Abreu getting closer to second place, running Brian Brown. Next time by, there will be 10 laps, a quarter of the way in the 42nd Kings Royal.
Kyle Larson trying to break into the top 5. He's all over the 48 of Danny Dietrich. Dietrich in that 5th spot. Kyle Larson 6th, right next to the concrete, nearly pushing the 48 as they come off of turn number 4. And Casey Jedrzejczyk in the mix as well.
Larson to the top in turn 2. Around the outside of Danny Dietrich, move Kyle Larson into the top 5. Dietrich trying to reclaim that spot on the bottom in quarter number 4.
Larson has the position. He trails the 1A of Ashton Torgerson by 1.1 seconds. A look at the 69K of Ryan Smith running in the 9th spot. Casey Jedrzejczyk in the mix in the 11N. Jedrzejczyk has not left the bottom the entire duration of this feature event with 11 laps counted. Now 12 laps going into the books.
Rico Abreu continues to close in on Brian Brown, setting up a battle for the 2nd spot. Brown on the cushion, Abreu to the bottom of the speedway in 3 and 4. They'll race for 2nd, and Rico Abreu will take it as they cross the line.
Abreu will slide up in front of Brown, takes the air off of the nose of the 21 machine. They'll head back to turn number 3. Abreu to the bottom. Brown continues to run up by the cushion. They're trailing the 39M of Anthony Macri by about half a straightaway.
Macri now working traffic, closing in on the 17 GP of Tim Schaefer. Traffic in play with now 15 of 40 laps complete in the 42nd Kings Royal. Anthony Macri has led to the drop of the green flag. A second-and-a-half lead over Rico Abreu. Abreu trying to cut into that as they work traffic for the first time.
Anthony Macri has spent the balance of this green flag run on the top side of the speedway. He has some clean track up there as he works through traffic until he gets maybe a couple more cars through this lappers in the field. We'll see if this hinders the advancements of the 39M.
Ashton Torgerson getting a little closer to the third place car, Brian Brown. Closing in on the halfway point of the 42nd Kings Royal at the Eldora Speedway. And Kyle Larson moving in on Torgerson. Larson's got momentum built up on the top side of the racetrack.
A look there at the 1A of Torgerson working the bottom, the 57 of Larson all the way up top. They'll make their way down the front straightaway and back to turn number 1. They'll stay in those lines. Kyle Larson has been up at the concrete almost the entire duration of this feature as well. Anthony Macri off of turn number 4 continues to show the way.
Rico Abreu getting closer now, just a half a second behind, and maybe closer than that in turns 1 and 2. We'll see a halfway sign, cross flags as they cross the start-finish line. Anthony Macri leading it, but Rico Abreu getting closer.
They'll make their way under the crossed flags. In fact, Abreu has closed in significantly as they make their way down the back straightaway. Abreu running the middle of the speedway to the lower side. Macri will go down there as he enters lap traffic. A couple of cars side by side in front of your race leader. An opportunity for Rico Abreu just past the halfway point.
Rico Abreu, the top side in turns 1 and 2. Kyle Larson around the outside of Ashton Torgerson, moving Larson now into the 4th spot.
They continue to battle all over the Eldora Speedway, a perfectly manicured racing surface despite afternoon rain showers here in Ohio. Side-by-side action, Ryan Smith in the 69K, the 48 of Danny Dietrich. They work alongside the 1A of Ashton Torgerson.
Ryan Smith moving forward in the second half of this one, closing in on Ashton Torgerson for the 5th position. Abreu trying to keep pace with Anthony Macri, separated by the slower car of Chris Windham. Macri to the cushion in turn 4. Abreu down low. Rico Abreu looking for his chance to take the lead of the Kings Royal.
And right now, Abreu's car looks really maneuverable, John. He's been up on the top. He's been on the bottom. He's rolling through the middle. Rico Abreu looks to have a car that's going to be very strong if they get into some really dense lap traffic.
Just when you think Rico is closing in, Macri able to extend the advantage to back up over 1 second. Danny Dietrich, Ashton Torgerson going at it for 6th. Caution on the speedway, car spinning in turn 4. It was the 83 of Buddy Kofoid. Kyle Larson into the 3rd spot and now coming after Abreu for 2nd, and he'll take it by a half a car length out of quarter number 2.
He'll go down, blocks the advance of Rico Abreu, side by side off of turn number 4. Rico back into position number 2, puts Larson back to 3rd. 3 wide for the 4th spot and maybe some contact at the end of the front straightaway. Brian Brown, Ashton Torgerson, Ryan Smith were battling.
Brian Brown in the 4th spot, Torgerson and Smith side by side for 5th. Torgerson will take it away from the Kreitz Motorsports 69K across the line, and David Gravel now behind Smith. Gravel is up to 7th.
Torgerson slides up the speedway, just enough room for the 21 of Brian Brown to sneak around the outside and continue to maintain his 4th place run. David Gravel humming around the outside of the speedway. He has caught up with 6th place running Ryan Smith.
Gravel to the cushion, Smith on the bottom, Ashton Torgerson runs low as well. David Gravel by Ryan Smith to take the 6th spot, and now he'll look to the inside of Torgerson for a top 5 out of quarter number 4.
David Gravel, 19th on the starting grid, looking to get into the top 5, pulled alongside Torgerson for the spot. Torgerson with the advantage as they hit the midpoint of the back straightaway. Now Gravel into the top 5 in the number 2.
David Gravel in 5th with 10 laps to go in the 42nd Kings Royal. Anthony Macri's lead, 1.34 seconds over Rico Abreu. Kyle Larson 3rd, Brian Brown 4th, David Gravel now in 5th.
Rico Abreu, half-second quicker last lap than Macri.
Macri just hit the wall again in turn 1. Anthony Macri tapped the wall with the right rear corner of the 39M.
Abreu closing in. It was 9/10 last time by at the stripe. This time, little less than that. They both go all the way upstairs through turns 1 and 2. They're a half straightaway in front of third place running Kyle Larson.
Anthony Macri continues to run right on the wall. He's done that so many times at the Port Royal Speedway. Now doing the same in Eldora. David Gravel getting closer to fourth place running Brian Brown with 7 laps to go.
You can see the interval between Brown in fourth and Gravel in fifth as Gravel goes all the way to the bottom side of the speedway. Brown down on the bottom as they come off of turn number 4. 6 to go in the Kings Royal. It's Anthony Macri by a little over a second.
5 laps as the leader crosses the start-finish line. Anthony Macri with a 1.3 second lead with 5 to go.
About a half straightaway for the driver from Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, but he's got more dense lap traffic in front of him. An opportunity for Rico Abreu to close back in if there's one small misstep for your race leader in the 39M.
This time by 3 to go in the 42nd Kings Royal for Anthony Macri, looking to go flag to flag in this one.
They're closing in on Corey Day, who works the high side of the speedway, so if it stays true to how it's running now, Macri's going to have to get off of the cushion at some point here in the closing 2 laps in the Kings Royal.
Logan Schuhart by Ashton Torgerson to move to the 8th spot. Schuhart from the inside of row number 11 at the start.
Macri will move down a little bit, getting into 3. He sees the white flag. Final lap underway. Anthony Macri continues to lead over Rico Abreu just over 1 second. Macri off of turn number 2. Gets a run down the hill and has got good momentum down the backstretch.
Rolling into corner number 3 and out of turn 4. Call him King Anthony, the 42nd. Anthony Macri, flag to flag at Eldora Speedway. Rico Abreu 2nd, Kyle Larson 3rd, Brian Brown 4th, and David Gravel from 19th to 5th. Anthony Macri climbing to the top to celebrate a Kings Royal win.
The fist pump, Anthony, from the Wheatley shows in Pennsylvania to starting to travel more. You've worked so hard to be here. You've won a Crown Jewel sprint car race, the Kings Royal. Does this even seem like real life?
Nah, man, I don't know. Shit, I'm about to cry. Man, I don't know. This is honestly really special. To be able to start where we started, and you know what, me and my parents and you know, everyone that put all the time and effort into this thing. Never in a million years did I think I'd be standing up here and winning a Crown Jewel that's worth $200,000. But this is badass.
You cry all you want. We got plenty of time. Let's talk about the race itself. Joe Mooney told us under the open red, bent Jacob's ladder. Was that affecting how you had to fend off Rico Abreu and Kyle Larson that last green flag run?
I mean, I definitely made it a handful of times in lap traffic. I mean, I don't know, had actually kind of tightened us up there and free air and clean air and you know, stuck the car a little bit better. But in dirty air, it was definitely made the car a little bit of a handful. And I knew Rico and Larson and them were behind me, and I knew I still had to run the shit out of this thing and not mess up. So that's what I tried to do. And there were a couple times that I thought I was going to lose it, but man, I don't know. This is man.
Was there anything major that changed for you at the end of the race from the beginning whenever you got the lead so early on?
I just told Joe I was a little loose on the exits of the corners, and he cranked some weight and they added fuel to it, and they let me run the shit out of it.
You've just won a Kings Royal, and you mentioned the humble beginnings that you came from. There's some kid right now that's probably sitting in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania that's been cheering you on the last couple of hours. What would you tell him right now? Maybe he wants to be a sprint car driver and win the Kings Royal someday.
Never give up, no matter how much shit you tear up. I mean, there were times where I wanted to quit and didn't think I was going to be a good race car driver at all, but I mean, I stuck through it, and man, this is where the tears come out. I mean, I don't know. It's just I stuck through it and just never give up.